Duckett, don't you? And Pope, and even Brooks had some problems against the short ball.
Yeah. Oh, Brooke, Mister, I can't leave it alone. Just can't leave. I can't cope.
Yeah, I can't wait. The Aussies going to put a leg slip in, a short backward point, men on the hook, men on the cut, men on the drop, and bounce it in short. Yeah, it's so obvious what the Aussies will do to him. But he might be good to be up to it.
Try and hook this, mate. If we go with this one.
Which all leaves a lot of pressure on Joe. His record in Australia is iffy, to say the least.
Absolutely.
Welcome to the DN35 podcast, everybody. The new cricket show is just landed with me and Youngie. Alex will join us in a minute.
Well, we got a bit of a battering on the chat last week for talking cricket, didn't we? But this is the preamble, so this is fine, surely,
This is this bit that Bruce isn't here this week that Bruce hates. This sort of bollocks. No, it's the stuff at the end that Bruce doesn't like, isn't it?
Yeah, there's no hiding for Bruce now, though. So,
Sam's already gone. There we go. He's back now.
He's back.
Yeah, the best bit now is when we. So at the moment, well, look, we're all friends here. We'll happily invite you behind the scenes. So StreamYard, which is the function, the software you see us use every now and then, all the time, and most of the other podcasts, it was 240 quid last year to use it. This year it is 430. So we are trying different things. Sam has got his window open, I think. Live chat. Does this work? So if I click this, Richard, there we go.
Yes.
Evening, Richard.
Hi,
there
Richard.
we are. It does work. And then it disappears after 10 seconds, apparently, on its own, which I don't like. I feel like I'm losing control. There we go. Same there with David. Evening, David. How you doing?
Evening, Dave.
So yeah, we'll keep having a play with these. So if they keep coming in and going, then you'll know why. Though I've just looked to see what it looks like, and it says that they're experiencing problems, which I assume is not my fault. Where's their logo?
Well, it's all the traffic that's suddenly coming their way.
Well, this is the problem, isn't it?
Yeah, biggest transfer of the window so far, arguably.
Mad. Good evening, Martin. How you doing? So it's a bit bare bones, but where's it gone? There we are. I've moved my laptop over the other side.
It does feel like it does feel like we've got a new barbecue at the start of summer. We don't really know how to use the new fancy stuff on it.
No, and I've had to upload all the old stuff, but it keeps giving me the old crap. So it keeps giving me their crap stuff as well. So we can have we've got new transitions, whatever that means.
Oh.
Denver Hume free kick, sailing past everyone.
No,
that's his corner hitting the front, the foot near post. What's this one? Oh, that's. But I don't
very quiet.
Yeah, it's very quiet. Let's turn that down. Riverside Mobile. Oh, but I have brought over the essential stuff.
How old are you? How old are you? How old are you? How old are you?
Did that work?
Yeah,
it did for me. Yeah,
I could
still
it still makes me laugh. That
still the greatest segment in DN35 history.
Yeah,
it's there you go.
Hang on, Sam. You keep going. So I apologise.
No, that's me because I'm on my phone. And I'm looking at the notifications. It's not just me doing that deliberately.
Oh right, okay. Concentrate on this job. This is your job.
This is my job. I'm waiting for my paycheck then.
That's your job.
Yeah, don't mention it.
Time for OnlyFans, says David. Absolutely. And do you know what? Some people have actually used that Ko-fi thing. So thank you very much for sending some cash. It will go into the funding for this if it works.
And you've all got too much money.
That's true. But we thank you all.
Buy a
thank
podcast of fish.
Yeah, thank you, Richard. It says that for me as well, and I can't get rid of it. But there's nothing on like the main thing here which says that that it's even been shown. Evening, Reese. How you doing? Martin, they are not here. Bruce has got a game with Maisie. Mike is being antisocial, but we won't tell him about this. So if we use this, the best bit is that when we do the actual videos, it doesn't take us off. So we won't tell them. So when they'll think they're, happily behind some sort of wall for 55 seconds where they can pick their nose and scratch their ass, they'll actually be live on screen to you guys, and they won't know about it. So we'll keep that.
Thank God I'm on the first one of this, because you would have tried to trick me into doing all sorts of daft things if I was none the wiser.
Well, yeah, that's the whole point, isn't it? We need to. Team Toon. Right, let's do this bit, and then I'll come back with more energy, I promise. Oh, I'm still here.
And now the shipping forecast issued by the Met Office on behalf of the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency at 1130. Go! At 1130.
I don't think I've ever wanted to be in a stand more than my life around there. They're going crazy. Hey, they got penalty here. There'll be fish flying about there. There's no tomorrow.
What a magnificent piece of football! A really, really good goal. You can't make it straight for that.
You're on mute, Alex.
Unbelievable.
I'd say
What
totally believable, I think, actually, more than unbelievable. But
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the DN35 podcast, Summer Social. We are experiencing, trying a new piece of software. So if it goes balls deep, then it's just Sam's problem. Balls deep is the wrong word.
It was the wrong word, but I enjoyed it very much.
You mean tits up, don't you? That's what you meant.
Tits up, balls deep, whatever you want to do on a Sunday evening.
Tits up, balls deep, that's the way we like to eat.
It's great to have you along. We'll talk a couple of bits and bobs, but obviously there's very little on the agenda. Sam, though, can at least tell you he's bought his 1998 retro Grimsby Town shirt.
And also, for the first time in about 15 years, I've gone for a player's name on the back of the shirt. I haven't done this for years, because, of course, basically, whenever we have name on the back of the shirt worthy players, they've all gone. Like Bogle would have been, but he's only here 18 months. Whereas I am relatively confident Danny Rose will still be here on the first day of the season. But if he isn't, and I quite like the winner wishing chicken dinner thing at the bottom of it, contrary to public opinion. But no, it's good. I really like it, actually. It's a nice fabric as well, and then my energy's on it, but so you can wash it without getting rid of this. Because my other one, I washed it a few times, and the sort of lettering came off it, so it looked a bit second hand by the end of the season. But no. I've spent my season ticket money on Danny Rose's name on the back of a shirt.
Well, that's good. Still contributing to the club, then. That's nice.
Absolutely. Although the fact that it couldn't have £10 off my shirt, I'd forgotten that bit when I went.
Ah, yes. So, but you didn't take the risk then a few days before and go, sod it, I'm going to put Hume on the back.
No, I didn't. It would be the most Sam thing ever that I wouldn't say if I'd put Denver, because I was a big Denver fan. As well as I've made clear on social media in the past couple of days, thanks to you, Youngie, everybody knows about that. Sorry, Youngie.
I think Alex at some point needs to play the voice note that he sent to Sam on Friday on the group chat, which is.
Hang on. Let me see if I can find it. Did you like it?
Explain the context. Yeah, we'll explain the context.
Let's see if I can find it. No, that's the pod update. Here it is. Save as. Oh, I can save it, so I can bring it in.
So just before we play it, we'll explain the context. So Alex got a message from Radio Humberside. Mike, got a message from Radio Humberside, basically saying, does one of us go on the air because they've got some news to report? Now, this was after the club confirmed that Denver Hume was leaving. Now, bearing in mind, Sam has been quite vocal on social media over the last week, basically saying to the club, why has it been announced yet? Why are we in the dark, etc., etc. So when it finally gets announced, we get the message, and it turns out they want to speak about Denver Hume. We thought it might be maybe a transfer in, but it wasn't. It was about they wanted to speak about Denver Hume. So Sam's reaction was like, well, that's not news. So Alex sent his thoughts.
I'm really trying my best to get this. You were doing. You need to Phil. Oh, there it is. Phil.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't news, but I was totally accurate. That the club David Artell had done an interview that was put on the YouTube announcing that Denver Hume had gone. Like, so it wasn't news. The fact that I've kind of been not berating, but put out one tweet at the start of the week going, so when the players came back and saying, I think it's a bit poor form that we haven't heard about Denver. Not so blaming the club or maybe blaming Denver, or I was blaming Denver for the fact he hadn't told us or not. But I thought it was just a bit disappointing that it took until after pre-season had started for them to bother to tell us about it.
I've got to say, I'm a very talented audio engineer to be able to do this as we're trying to find. Go away, where's that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, just wait for it to download now, people. This is a skill. This is what people get paid a lot for. This is what Chris Moores gets for 34 holidays a year to do.
Yeah.
Hang on a minute, Sam. I'm not having this "that's not a story" rolling on the floor emoji. You've been bitching and whining day in, day out for what feels like the last 6 months about the contract status of Denver Hume, and you have been whinging at the club about, I have a right to know about what's going on. Surely they know now. What's Denver? Where's Denver? Who is Denver? Have you ever flown to Denver? Is Denver going to have a shit? How often is he having a piss? How is he taking his fruits and vegetables? Where is the Denver? That's all I've heard from you. And now they've told you what's going on. That's not a story.
Does that help?
Well, I wasn't. I put out one
Even
tweet
better the second time round.
And then found myself defending myself on it because I put out one tweet saying they could have done it. It wasn't like day in, day out. And then I put up another tweet saying that everybody going on saying, he was never really good anyway. Basically, Grimsby Town fans have undergone a collective breakdown. It's like they've been dumped by their girlfriend, and then I said, I never really liked her anyway. That's what it feels like.
I don't care that much. And I know there's a bit of revisionist going on amongst some, and there is, but football is complicated, and no player performs, especially in the fourth division, in a linear circle. They don't gradually get better. It's ups and downs. Sam, can you mute, mate, just because I can hear your background? And there we go. Sorry. Footballers don't necessarily play, 7 out of 10 each week. Hume, for me, started incredibly, was brilliant, fantastic, made some really key and important passes, and was a pivotal part. Now, whether it be through his own personal form or because we changed systems and it didn't suit him, I've got to be honest, the last 10, 15 games of the season, he became quite anonymous at times. And when you're looking at a player that has been the leading assist scorer, you're looking to him to help create stuff. And I'm thinking of the game at Port Vale and at Wimbledon and at Milton Keynes, where we're looking for that player to come to the forefront and put it forward. He didn't do that. And because of that is one of the reasons why we weren't able to get into the playoffs. Not that we were going to do anything in them anyway, but Wimbledon bored everyone to death and got promoted that way. But sad to see him go, yes, to a point, but it feels like the last 2 seasons, all we've had is a bloody rigmarole around whether or not we're keeping Hume or not. And the big thing is that players are people. They get, 10, 15 years at most to be able to put together a career. Division 4, you're not going to be able to retire in whatever you make. And if the reports are that, that 3 times the amount we'd offered him, I mean, the truth is probably somewhere in the middle. So, say he was offered double, we were going to offer him a 1-year contract and a bit of an increase. If that's, double the price in 2 years, that's 3 times as much money he'd have made it here in a year. So that's a guaranteed money for him and his family. So can only wish him the best. Professionally, it's probably a backward step. Fleetwood have had a bit of rumblings around how they're run. Their owner or a former owner was an interesting character, and I don't know where that leaves him that way. Plus, I don't know, Fleetwood, isn't it? Good for him. Good luck. But once again, it shows exactly what those who wish to date a footballer can do. So this is a noise out there for every young woman or young man who wants to date a footballer from Grimsby, that your involvement is essential for the betterment of this club. Whether you're going to marry Ben Davis or you're going to date Denver Hume, there are opportunities there for you to bring these players back to our area, because this is where you're from, and you can make them play for us. So whether you think you haven't got the footballing ability, but you're a bit of a looker, you have an opportunity here to pull a footballer. Please look at good Premier League academies. Look at the future stars. Look at whoever won the under-21s yesterday, World Cup. Congratulations, England. Look through those wonderful lads and go, he's the one for me, and make it your role to bring them to the club and to move us forward. Is that right?
So fantastic.
Oh, boys.
Oh, boys, absolutely. And, you know, there's a word that charms many a man from all across the world. Dal. Get your dal down. Our dal.
Get your dals out for the lads.
Get your dals out.
Just lots of potato dishes, Indian potato dishes.
So when you're in the Swashy on a Saturday night after celebrating a 2-0 win, and you see the boy who just scored a hat-trick at the pontoon end, whatever your sex, just try it. So, hiya, dal. Would you like a drink? And maybe, just maybe, you might have secured that person a 5-year contract. Do it for your town. Do it for your people.
And after that rousing speech from,
I don't have any rousing music really. Can you do that again? Can we do the last couple of lines again, and I'll try and find some rousing music to get to
rousing music.
Hang on, I can find some of that. Can't pause it. I can't find. I've not uploaded it. Oh, what an absolute mess! That's a mainstay of our work. Tinkerboo Factory. There we go. It's uploading. We'll be fine in a minute.
There you go. So, Sam, okay, while we're talking then, are you genuinely gutted, or are you measured about the whole situation?
I don't. I'm disappointed he left. I'd much prefer he stayed. But he's as Alex said. I think you have to probably agree with Alex that his effectiveness certainly in the last quarter of the season dropped off. That might be to do as much as anything the fact that other sides might have started to target him and identified him as a threat and put more to stop him. I don't know. Could be, but he certainly his effectiveness in the last quarter of the season dropped. Disappointed to see him go, but as some people pointed out, he's a fullback. He's not beyond. He's obviously not irreplaceable. And as I said, you can hardly blame the lads if they are paying him $10,000 a week, which is the sort of rumoured fee. Then the rumoured wage. Then I mean, I'm not sure. If I was playing for Grimsby and I'd been offered a Fleet with $10,000 a week at Fleetwood, I think I'd have to turn it down. So yeah, I have no particular qualms. It's a bit sort of disappointed that he's left, but I don't know. Maybe the Staunton lad be brought in. Is he called Staunton, the last back lad we brought in? I mean, I'm sorry, I've missed quite a lot of it. Maybe better. I have a lot more trust in the recruitment process and our ability to replace players than I've ever done, frankly.
Ian says, so you want the local lasses to put it out? No, Ian. All men. We are an equal opportunities employer here. We need everybody to put their best foot forward and find talent to bring back to the area.
Yeah.
We've all got a job in the scouting.
Exactly. It's, you know, and as well, potentially, we could even be breeding the next generation as well. Think about that.
Well, I'll tell you something. The fact the nation haven't got the Bellingham parents sort of hooked up to a milking machine or something like that.
100%. Like they need to be locked up and just emptied on a daily basis.
Just throwing oysters through the cage.
The dad's just like, I can't go on no more. You're doing it for your country.
Someone put Land of Hope and Glory on again.
I don't think we should have taken that comment about becoming OnlyFans quite this seriously.
Well, all I'm saying is get the Bellinghams together, get the company that did Dolly the Sheep together, bang, World Cup.
Yeah.
Well, 11 Jude Bellinghams.
11 Jude Bellinghams and Joe Bellingham.
We all dream of a team of Bellinghams, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have to create at least like 3 Jobs, wouldn't you? For some kind of like...
Yeah,
you're not showing bias.
For every Man United, there's a Dennis Irwin.
True. Yeah, absolutely.
I couldn't think of a better equivalent.
A David May?
Yeah, Trent Alexander-Arnold, that sort of stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's a point. Who's the better attacking fullback then?
Yeah, Sam,
who's the biggest rat?
Yeah, who's the biggest rat?
Who's the biggest? The Denver's obviously a better player. I don't recognise that other bloke you're talking about. Who? Is that the bloke? Who's the other one you mentioned? I've never heard of him.
Oh, so he played for Liverpool since he was like a kid, and then won everything with them. Then got them 10 million and went off to probably the most successful club in the world that's ever been. And the local area where he grew up in and the people that he used to live with and idolized him called him a rat and a scumbag. And it was. But thankfully, he'll never walk alone, which sounds more menacing now than hopeful, because I assume they were seeing that at the bloke who was driving over everyone on Peters Street in Liverpool. But it's just more of a threat now, isn't it, Sam? Is that too soon? No, you've not heard anything else about that, though, have you?
No, you have. Honestly, I'd forgotten about it. Like, not that I think I remember it happened, but like, it seems to have just been sort of swept under the carpet. That like that. Unlike Trent's decision to kind of go to Real Madrid, which is kind of would appear to have drowned it out somehow.
Do you think that bloke's been dragged into prison? Yeah, but what about Trent?
Yeah, what about Trent? That's basically what's happened. That's basically what the media's done, isn't it? Right? We're not actually interested in running over pedestrians, but we're interested in Trent Alexander-Arnold's decision to leave Liverpool.
You've only got to look at this weekend at Glastonbury to sum that up, haven't you? Blooming heck.
Where are we going with the Glastonbury thing?
Right, stop now. He was just that blown away by Rod Stewart's performance. I think that's just
Hey, too fair. Can't whack Rod, can you? What a legend Rod Stewart is.
Yeah, he's 80 though. I think it's time to retire.
I just want to see his train station, a train set. He's got an amazing train set, apparently.
Do you remember, Alex, around Grimsby, there used to be a Rod Stewart tribute act called Rog Sings Rod?
Yes.
Brilliant.
Never went. All I remember, he was just constantly on at the spider's web.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, definitely a spider's web regular. Absolutely. He used to kick inflatable balls. He used to do We Are Sailing, and he used to kick inflatable like balls into the crowd and people pass along. What a showman.
Did he?
Yeah. Just a hero. Just a hero.
A hero.
There are some brilliant like tribute. Rod plays Rod. I mean, that's pretty good. I was on holiday in Germany about 10 years ago, and there was a Phil Collins tribute act called Still Collins, which I thought was brilliant.
Very good. Yeah. When I was in Bridlington a couple of weeks ago, there was a poster for a Sam Fender tribute, and he was called Scam Fender.
That's very
good.
What I'm going to take it away from that though. I want to ask, because we're talking about Grimsby Town, Grimsby Nightlife. Is that taxi that still goes around? That's a karaoke taxi still around?
Oh, no, I don't think he is anymore. What a legend that guy was. Yeah, absolutely. I don't think it's a thing, unfortunately, anymore. I might bring that back, to be fair. That might be my next venture.
Could you imagine you in a transit van with just a disco ball in the...
Mate, it's a dream.
Everybody
I'll be doing pickups from Docksfest next week. Just outside the Meridian. Go on.
Will, that van of ours, have you thought of just sticking a load of LED lights in it and letting me drive it around?
Well, the Docks Beers party bus? Come on.
What about... I'm quite disappointed, actually. You see them in Amsterdam, those the sort of cycling bars that you see wandering. Why don't we get one of them from Docks? Just driving up and down Freeman Street, being chased. You got to cycle for your life.
Yeah. God, you imagine if that would be like number one swag, wouldn't it, for bike stealers down Fremo? It'd be like, there it is, the golden goose. If we get this one, cash converters will give us a fortune.
Well, no, we're going to get it through the door. Could you also imagine
We're going to buy in kit form.
On the A180, on the experimental road surface, not being able to hear a word of what everyone's saying. Go up to the Great Coats roundabout and back again.
Yeah. Little trip around the Euro Park. Jobs are good.
The Euro Park. I'm quite surprised there hasn't been a petition in Grimsby to have that renamed. Where's my Farage Park?
the Brexit Park.
Yeah. Don't.
That's what we voted for.
Don't. You think Winner Chicken Dinner is going to be a controversial sponsorship? Wait until Blundell Park's been renamed.
The Farage Dome.
Good old BP.
The Leonici Arena.
The Leonici Arena. Leonici, eh?
So that reminds me that this time last year, we're coming up to the anniversary of my great political demise. I'm having a party on Friday to celebrate it.
Yeah, I'll be entirely honest. I assume that when they look through that political career, I don't think you're top of the demises, Sam. I mean, you are on this podcast.
Yeah, I'm the most famous political demise on DN35. I think I'll claim that title.
It was very fun to see. Wendy seems to be trying to Google something and doing an Ed Balls thing because she's messaged. She said Lewis Grimsby Town and then Grimsby Town Lewis. So I assume she's meant to be Googling something. Is that right, Wendy? David says Benny Hill music. Cool. You guys have got to be better at this stuff. I'm struggling with this software enough as it is. If you're just going to throw stuff out there like that, David, I can't cope.
What about the fixture list? What about the fixture list, Yummy? What's your first game of the season?
I can't get rid of this thing. What is it? It's all on everybody's stream saying they've got an issue, and it says hover over it. I can't get rid of it.
Oh, God's sake! It's yes. My first game will be Harrogate away.
I'm not going to Harrogate.
It's an away game I've never done.
No. Well, I've decided I thought if we're not going to win there last season, I'm never going to see us win at Harrogate. So, I think my first game of the season might be is it Bank Holiday Weekend Accrington away? Another thing the club failed to mention on their first did you see that when the fixture list went out, they just forgot to put that game on.
Oh, is that?
Yeah, I messaged the group, didn't I? Yeah.
Oh, is that what it was about? Was it? Was it what we're doing on this? Okay. And also we found out who we were playing in the Tin Pot Trophy by either us announcing it
or
Bradford announcing it.
Yeah, it was shared in a group chat. It was shared in a group chat to me, the Bradford Twitter. I found it out from Bradford.
I was just saying, from this day forward, we will only refer to the trophy as the Luke Spokes Trophy. Now, that's the name of the competition.
The Luke Spokes was amazing. He was just somebody underneath a Twitter account that had just I think it was Luke O'Hara who basically just put so he signed then, has he?
I wondered if we were going to do that with Deadby, you know, when we announced he'd left and then just turn up on the first day of the season, he just wasn't there. I thought we were just kind of like go full circle.
Did you see those people as well? There was a video going around that people were the town player was running with a load of compost on his back, and someone just call it Denver.
Oh no!
It's like, that's their mate. That stuff is for podcasts where they don't have to listen to it unless they're mad, sadomasochists, and they want to hear their names being dragged through the mud. How are you?
We've made a signing. We should maybe speak about that.
Oh, did we? Who we signed?
Yeah, I've forgotten enough.
Jamie Walker this week.
Oh yeah, do you know what? And that video. So if you haven't seen it, we'll tweet it out. I think we already have. But his young lad did a video of join me while I go and my dad goes and signs for a new football club, and they take you through it, and it looks really lovely. So they go down to Cheapside. So I assume the club have gone right. Let's make sure they don't go down the A180 yet. Let's get them, to go down through Greatcoats, nice part of town, through the Wybers, not through the Willers, and then get there. But They gave them they gave the kids shirts, and then they had a bit of a kickabout on the pitch, and they were in the release video down the beach, which was quite nice. So that bit, the release videos are quite nice. Also, a nice little nod towards Mr. Temperton.
George Benson, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't think there are many other clubs that have a better musical backup. So if Danny Baker used to want to do a King Herod's Cup where you had to play for the town you were born in. If we had to put together a Glastonbury of only the places you're from, I think Grimsby would be very high up, like in terms of the songs they've been able to produce or link to. I mean, it would be a lot of Ella Henderson, but there'd be other things too.
Baz Whittleton, he did the was it Agadoo Baz Whittleton produced?
Yeah, the music teacher at Franklin College.
Yes.
He wrote Agadoo, so we've got Agadoo there. That's one. We've got Thriller. We've got all of Elton John's stuff. Do we count that? Can we have Market Raisin?
Yeah. We're the nearest league team. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, we can definitely have Market Raisin.
There we go. So we got most of Elton John's back catalogue. We got half the disco stuff.
All the decent stuff anyway.
Manchester might argue, Liverpool might argue, but for certainly in the lower leagues, I think we're competing.
I think we are the Bournemouth of that.
Ooh, that's a shout.
Yeah.
Other lower league clubs, Pink Floyd are from Cambridge, aren't they? Who else is there maybe?
Yeah, but that's it. Woking would do quite well because they got the Jam, and then I assume they can use.
Paul Weller's got a massive back catalogue, hasn't he?
Yeah, and they've also got War of the Worlds, so I assume they can use the music from that as well.
Who gets the Stone Roses? Because Warrington's almost bang on halfway between Manchester and Liverpool.
Warrington get it. It's Warrington's. That's Warrington's. Just because they don't have a league club yet, you got to let them have it.
I thought you were saying league clubs. That's the thing.
Nah.
I've got a feeling that not all of them are from Warrington. I think
what's his face from Warrington, isn't he? What's he called? The lead singer. Ian Brown. He's from Warrington, isn't he?
Yes, I'm checking this now. Ian Brown is from Warrington. John Squire is from Broadheath. That's Manchester, isn't it? So I think they're a mix. They're a mixed bag.
And not to mention mine and your favourite, Young Eat. We can have Yeet a Pang.
Obviously, absolutely. We can have Yeet a Shout. I hadn't heard that name for years. We could have Mint, and we could have there another one.
Bright Lights,
Twist.
Do you know what? The Bright Lights were pretty good. They were tipped, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. Yeah, I think they got a deal. I think they had a deal at one point.
Because they did. Their music video was on the pyramid stage, wasn't it? Before it had been built.
Yes,
which was quite good.
That's cool. I saw speaking of Glastonbury, I saw Orphan Boy at Glastonbury.
Did you really?
Yeah.
2 o'clock in the morning.
It was 2 o'clock in the morning. I'll tell you this, it's great now looking back on it. In fact, Smithy, who is the vocalist on Black and White for You, I've spoken to him about it, and so I had a friend with me, Chris Solly, who's from London, but he's originally from Grimsby. And I said to him, there's a band from Grimsby playing on this stage at 2 o'clock in the morning. We should go and see them. And so we went. And when they got brought on stage, the guy announced them from being from Manchester. And they got kind of a bit of a muted response. And yeah, absolutely. So they got a bit of a muted response. They played the first song. And then the drummer goes, "Oh yeah, we're Orphan Boy. We live in Manchester, but originally we're from Grimsby." And as soon as they, I shit you not, as soon as they said the words Grimsby, the whole tent went up. Yes, Mariners, Mariners. And I looked around, and there's a woman next to me, and she was like, "Are you from Grimsby?" I said, "Yeah." And she was like, "Where do you live?" And at the time, I was living on Torrington Street. She was like, "I'm from David Street," which is like literally one street down. And after that, it was big local fest.
Do you think that's all it is? I think Grimsby, for me, Grimsby's a small Liverpool because everyone is very proud of being from Grimsby. But though everyone I meet, well, granted, I'm down south, is not that living there.
Grimsby is the place that we can call it a shithole because we're from here. But if you call it a shithole, whoa, we've got problems.
And it's like people moaning about your kids, isn't it? Like you have to moan about your own kids, but if anybody else moans about, it's not allowed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Simon has put something out there as well, saying Crawley have the cure. So Crawley are doing all right.
Mm-hmm.
Hull are doing all right, regrettably. They've got the beautiful South and Fleetwood Mac.
Fleetwood Mac?
They've got something to do with Hull, haven't they? There's someone in Fleetwood Mac who was from Hull. Oh, David Bowie's guitarist is from Hull as well, isn't he?
Can we have Sting then? Because their former tour manager used to live in Grimsby.
That's a bit of a stretch, isn't it? Tour manager.
Well, no, hang on about this, because this is my most embarrassing moment in my life. So,
bloody hell!
A friend
this is going to be
a good one.
I'm muting for this.
Youngie will like this one. So, I'd started seeing a girl in Grimsby, and her friend was, they were thick as thieves, and she started dating my best mate, and she was eminently cooler. She was into her music, went to Westwood Ho, which shows, arty, subculture sort of stuff. And her claim to fame is that her godfather is Sting, because her dad was the tour manager for the Police and everything. So, when you used to have to do all that sort of introductory stuff at school, going two truths and a lie, that was always sort of the bit. But they used to have his bass guitar from Walking on the Moon down Abbey Street, and I was playing on it. I got told off, and then I was trying to be really cool, and so I'd already been admonished for doing that, going, "How dare you play with this, £1 million bass guitar," which is in Grimsby. And then the next bit was trying to talk to her mum, who was very cool. Went, "What bands do you like?" And I was just scrambling around. I have no idea. S Club 7 and 5. Robbie Williams. I quite like his new album. And I said, what would be the worst rock band you could think of, Youngie, to say?
By any chance, would it be The Police?
No, it wasn't The Police. It wasn't even a real band.
Oh, and not even a real band?
No, fake, famous, not real band. Think Stonehenge, 6 inches tall.
Oh, Spinal Tap.
Yeah, Spinal Tap.
You said Spinal Tap
in front of all these music aficionados.
Oh my god! Did your then girlfriend dump you on the spot? I hope she did.
I think she'd already got rid of me by then. I think that the writing had already been on the wall. But yeah, that was probably my chance to be cool was lost. Or
really?
maybe they thought I was being really ironic and aloof.
Yeah, I absolutely. Yeah. You don't understand.
None of this music.
In Spinal Tap's defence and in your defence, they are genuinely good musicians, and I've seen them live, so they are genuinely good. And it is the greatest film, of all time. Oh, it's up there.
Oh, so the world could have swallowed me up.
The Sound of Music, The Railway Children, Spinal Tap.
Yeah, they're the greatest songs, greatest films in the world. Yeah. If only Julie Andrews could walk up onto that hill and there was a 6-inch high Stonehenge on the top. That was the more awkward moments of my life. Yes, Mariner, we are complaining. We are taking Bernie Taupin.
Yeah. Have you seen Mark's message above?
Evening, gents. Late to the party, mentioning Glastonbury. Did you know Bristol Mariner has been DJing there for the past week? I didn't. And also, to add on to that, you've also got Bill Brewster. And I like this. This is not good because it completely just makes Youngie disappear.
I've been to her house. I've been to Swing Out Sister's house.
What is this? Who do you think you are?
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, didn't the Darkness record their album in Louth?
Louth, yeah. Bjork's recorded an album there as well. Because
they're from Lowestoft, aren't they? The Darkness, I think, or Justin Hawkins is from Lowestoft anyway.
Yeah, Mannix, I think, have recorded there as well. They've recorded in Louth. So
Mannix recorded in Louth. I mean,
yeah. I'm not sure it's there anymore, but there was at one point there was like quite a well regarded studio there. Yeah, so it's.
Is Louth near Grimsby, or are you actually near a Lincoln by the time you get to Louth?
Grimsby, Louth.
It's Grimsby, yeah.
Yeah,
it's near Grimsby. But it's like Louth is a bit like Grimsby's Beverley. What Beverley is to Hull, Louth is to Grimsby. As in, if if you don't want to associate with us anymore, and you feel like you're bordering on middle class, and yes, Father, I am talking about you. And I look down straight in the mirror. You leave the Shire of Grimsby and you move to Louth, just like people from Hull move to Beverley because they think, oh yeah, we're above this now, and they move.
And people from Leeds move to Harrogate.
Exactly.
Yeah. And people from Guildford moved to Farnham, and Aldershot, which is like 2 minutes down the road. Worst place in the world to live, best place in the world to live are separated by a Sainsbury's, and that's about it. Anyway, yeah, Louth. I mean, to put Louth on my very Surrey partner did say, I could see myself living in Louth. Oh, yeah, nowhere else.
Shouldn't fancy Healing then.
No, Healing. Well, what I'll tell you something. Speaking about that, Healing School. Why is it? That's gone down the shitter, hasn't it?
Yeah. We're doing the senior school searches at the moment, and the lookings, and people have.
You know where you knew where they need to go, youngie. CYS baby.
Well, we're going up the hill.
Alex, just show her the house prices. That's.
Oh, do you know what? At my work, it's quite a regular occurrence nowadays for me to just pull up Zoopla and just show everyone what they could get. Because my mum signed off. She is now officially back to being a Cleethorpes resident. She bought a house at the weekend, which is quite nice. It is 10-minute walk from Blundell Park, and it was 125 grand for a 3-bedroom terraced house, which is sort of a 10-minute walk from the beach. Come on. Ridiculous, isn't it? There was one behind, was it Lord Street, which is kind of near Willie's? It's like one of the little offshoots behind it.
Yes.
And there was like a 2-bedroom flat there for like a 2-bedroom little cottage for 100 grand. It's like, Jesus.
My old flat above the Smugs was going for, it does need a lot of work to it, to be fair, was going for 70 grand about 6 months ago.
And this is the conversation we have now. The big one that I always say, Sam, which will be great for you, and it will tie in the Louth thing. Jeffrey Archer's old townhouse in Louth, which is 6 bedrooms and looks onto the church, was £300,000.
I mean,
mad.
Where I live in Battersea, it would be 600 grand would get you a 2-bed flat with a balcony.
Which is like what that. You've got, Sam. Now you've obviously, you spent that year creaming the top off the British taxpayer. You've been able to
2 years.
Oh well, yeah. There you go. I
qualified for the redundancy settlement. just.
Well, how does
6 weeks?
Okay, so I don't want to. There's no jokes in this. So how does it? Are you able to tell us how it works? So obviously, a year ago today, you were rightly drop kicked out of Parliament.
Well, a year ago on Friday, but this time last year, I mean, the writing was on the wall a long time before like this time last year.
And in your defence, you were still doing the hard yards out on the street, going, "Have you thought of voting for the Conservative Party?" And they'd chase you down the road with a fish. I was going to say fillet o fish.
Those were fine, actually. I don't mind people saying get stuffed or ruder than that. To be honest with you, what I didn't like were purportedly the people who would sort of have a conversation with you for 10 minutes on the doorstep, completely waste your time, and then say, actually, you know what, I'm voting for reform. But they were the people I really didn't like.
That's something I would do. I'd just do it to wind you up.
And I briefed my aunt if she ever got a door knocked. Like, what you need to do is if a Labour canvasser comes round, you waste their time pretending you're undecided.
So when you got fired,
yeah.
So it's the 4th of July. It is Independence Day for the UK.
I'm in York Racecourse, operating on about 3 hours sleep in the last week. Yeah.
15 years of terror are finally over. Kids are singing in the street. Birds are larking in the trees.
It's so much better, of course, now. I mean, the government's brilliant. So,
what then happens? So you get kicked out on that day.
So what happens is, then you get a period of like it's 4 days where you've got to go down. Your parliamentary pass still works. You go down and you clear out the office, and it's basically chuck it all in the bin. It's all confidential.
Quick, burn the papers.
No, it's all confidential stuff, basically. How it works when you write to your MP.
Circling the right stag as we speak.
when you write to your MP, it's the individual. You wrote to if you do you live in Grimsby? So if you wrote to Melanie on Rich Young A, you're not writing to the Great Grimsby and Cleethorpes constituents. You're writing to Melanie on. So everything has to go and start again. Then you get a period of what's called winding up period, where it was a scandal that could be on. They've closed loopholes down after the last one, where basically you get 4 months of full pay to wind up the office. So I was paid until the 4th of November, and because I went over the 2-year thing,
are you hearing this, British taxpayer?
I got a redundancy settlement of I think it was 3 times statutory pay. So I was effectively paid till the end of December. And they've closed up. It's an independent parliamentary standards authority. Have closed lots of the loopholes there now that will not be available to this lot when they get unceremoniously booted out in 4 years' time. So the sort of and then I'm sitting there thinking when I'm working on leadership of candidate, I'm thinking I'm only able to do this because I'm being paid by the taxpayer. Is this right? But honestly, be honest with you, getting out of party politics was the best thing that ever happened. You see things so much more clearly now you're out of it and aren't worried about general elections and things like that. And I can say, yeah, the Conservative Party is shit. They were rightly kicked out of office because it was inept in so many different ways. I'm now even-handed rather than sort of blinded by some sort of bizarre loyalty linked to my employment. Anyway, sorry, I went on a bit of a soliloquy there, but I'll stop.
So basically you were paid for 4 months and then you had to find a job. And what happens if you find a job in the meantime? Or do you just try and...
Was it redundancy
pay? Okay.
Redundancy pay, yeah.
So you get it as a lump sum and then you go find it. So if you find a job the next day, so if you know full well the writing's on the wall, you could leave the next day with a massive payoff when you start a job at a new place the day after.
Yeah, you can do that because you'll get the redundancy. But well, you could anyway. But again, I said they've changed lots of the rules there. They realised how it was because it never actually got out really. What was happening with staffers and MPs,
and not to mention all the money you've made on betting on when the election starts.
I did. How many times have I told you? I was as surprised when they called that election as anybody was. We weren't. We were told quite the opposite a fortnight before by the party chair,
who was already down the bookies. Had Ladbrokes on the phone.
In fairness, Richard Holden, for all of his faults, he was the Tory chair at that time. Did not put a bet on. I think he was the only Conservative candidate who didn't. But no, I was looking through. I was like this on this day politics and just going through so it's obviously been doing the election from last year and thinking the campaign really did sum up the previous particularly 4 or 5 years of Conservative rule, which was just flirting from one scandal and crisis to the other. Honestly, when we lost, I didn't care. I was just relieved it was over more than anything.
Anyway, thank you very much, Sam. That was political story time by Mr. Barrick.
And nice honesty as well, Sam. That's nice.
Yes, nice for once.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, it's all. Everything I've told you there is a matter of public record. You can literally go online and see how it works. It's perfectly, as I say to people every day, we have the most transparent democracy in the world, contrary to public opinion.
So, anything football related we've got to talk about yet? So we talked about signing Jamie Walker. He looked quite. I mean, we kind of touched on him. Just talked about his signing video.
We did really. Well,
what position does he play? Sorry,
he's a number. By the looks of it, he's predominantly a number 10. Plays kind of in the attacking, probably
the whole, as you used to say. Yeah.
Yes, the whole. Comes with a very good reputation by all accounts. Bradford fans were very high on him. Says he's a really good pro. Very creative player, got a bit of a skill, got a bit bag of tricks in him. He's played at a high level, played for Hearts, hasn't he, on a regular basis in Scotland, which some might say that's a high level, some might not say, but he's certainly come with a good reputation anyway. And if we're probably being honest, we do need a few more experienced bodies through the door. It's maybe we talked about it at times last year, didn't we? About perhaps there were games where you look around and go, where are the experienced players? Where are the kind of where they're being G'd up from. So I think this is a good one on paper. I think this looks a good signing. So a good bit of experience there. So yeah, happy with that one.
If we can keep him fit, I think was the biggest caveat I saw with him. But I'm not going to go there because I'm not going to go there. Michael, jump onto the podcast.
Speaking of which, did we see Holloway's interview about Vernon?
Well, exactly. So
he was driving down, and basically on his way down, he thought, "I don't want to do this." That one.
So yeah,
he said he came. He went for the medical. Said he was there.
Who would have thought it'd have failed at the medical?
Well, I've seen conflicting reports. I've seen he failed his medical and he changed his mind. He didn't want to come down. I've seen both of those, Tao. So I don't really know what.
The line from Holloway was that deal was agreed, came down to do the medical was done, and then Vernon decided, I don't want the move. I want to stay in. I think he said
he came down. He came down. He went about 16 roundabouts. I forgot about
that. He went around 16 roundabouts and thought no. Apparently they've just had he said something along the lines of they've not long had a young baby and don't want to uproot, and they've decided against the move. I do maybe wonder if that's Holloway protecting him a little bit because he failed his medical. But I don't know. Maybe that's me putting two and two together. But I think Holloway may have done him a bit of a solid there and tried to protect him.
It's not like Charles Vernon to fail a medical or Ian Holloway make something up.
If we could, if we could somehow get 30 games out of Vernon, just 30. I'm not saying 46 or 50. I'm saying 30. That would be a net positive
for 15
for us.
Right now.
He's played fewer than 30 games in the last two seasons. He's not just started, played fewer than he is the greatest sick note of all time.
I know people say Sean Scannell, Chris Clement.
Yeah, Chris Clement.
Jamie Osborne.
Jamie Osborne.
Joel Grant.
Yeah, you got loads.
He was always
Donovan Wilson.
That's fair. Wilson's even worse, I think, isn't he? He signed for Dagenham, hasn't he, Wilson?
Yeah, Conference South. Yeah, he's got down to the south.
Again, there's a shame there because the player in Donovan Wilson, if you keep him fit, get a yard of pace, which frightens defenders at this level. Max Wright.
Yeah, poor Max Wright. Just wanted to hug him and tell him everything was going to be all right.
Clive Mendonca.
Again, another quality player, Max Wright.
Clive Mendonca being injured all the time, but that's maybe because
Mendonca had a year out, didn't he? Because he scored a hat trick in his first start back after a year, which is incredible. Like what a guy. Then he did the same for Charlton, didn't he? I think when they got promoted to the Premier League, within 2 games, he got an injury that took him out for a year.
Mark Worrell says Vernon's medical was like getting one of those credit cards where you don't even need to press a credit check. He was even surprised he passed it. Rude.
No, don't worry, love. I'll fail this. Through.
But no. So we're still looking at plenty of players coming in, aren't we? Like we've signed 3, and we probably still need to sign 4 or 5 more, don't we?
Well, the money seems to be that with the left back sorted, isn't it already? I think
I've heard we've signed a goalkeeper as well, a young lad from Arsenal. That's been mentioned for a few weeks now.
Yes, because apparently Artel was out in Romania looking at him in the under 19s.
We are letting it all out here today, aren't we? Yeah, these are. What was the other one that's been reported? Let's have a think. There's apparently Mike was doing some Googling and thinking, I think we're getting some bloke from Larne. I was like, I don't really think we are. I'm literally one of the few people that know the players in Larne.
Mike loves this though, doesn't he? Going on and researching who players could be. He lives for this time of year.
But the problem is, it's like, this is Larne. It's like, it's this player. It's like, oh, come on, Mike. He was playing semi-professional in Northern Ireland 6 months ago. It's a little bit of a jump.
Talking of which,
wait for him to be announced on Tuesday.
Yarson's injury is not great, is it? That's a bit of a he's been out for at least the first couple of months of the season apparently, and he was a player unlike with Verse Denver who got better as the season went on. I thought.
Yeah, but isn't it funny because apparently he's been carrying that injury for a while. So he was carrying that injury whilst probably being the best player in the squad for the last few months of the season. Which just makes you think if you get him if his knee's fully recovered, then what a player he could be.
Yeah, and maybe the positive is
You over panicked as well, didn't you, Sam? Because I saw this on Twitter. You were worrying about the injuries. Like, no, it was all planned. It's that the operation was planned. It was sorted. It's what it was going to be.
It's what we should have done with It's what we should have done with McAtee. You know, when McAtee didn't have the operation in the summer and it went on the first day of the season.
Yeah.
Is that because they wanted to sell him though?
Got us promoted though, didn't it?
Yeah, I'm not going to criticise. I think yes.
David,
I'm not having the he made a wrong decision.
David says, serious post. The Championship clubs wanting Premier League 2 and most of the EFL money. Make sure Championship has different start date to League 1, League 2. Seems first stage on the road to this, or am I being paranoid? You're not being paranoid, David, but it's a long way down the road. That's always been happening. The Championship now finishes on a different date and has done for about 5 years, if I remember rightly. It's just how it is. And then 2 people have come in saying, Joshua said, James Clark, rumoured from Bohemians. Please don't be Jamie Clark. And then Richard says...
Yeah, that's what I thought when I saw that. Like, I thought, bloody hell, the last one we had.
And Richard says, some guy from Bohemians scored the other day. I love all these rumours coming around. Tony just helps.
That rumours come from an Irish league, like, social media page, apparently. So there could be some truth in that, if they're reporting it from their end rather than the other way round. Because I think that's where the McJanet rumour first came from as well. But I think Clark is an English lad, looking into it, who's gone to Ireland, done the bit like McJanet. Career's not worked out young in England, so he's gone to Ireland to make his name. So yeah, we'll see. Andy Smith signed for Bellingham.
Yeah, that's a shame, but
honestly, I mean, I know it, but I'd rather we signed a sort of, I don't know, a 30-year-old experienced sort of warrior for centre half to sort of partner McJanet. I think like a kind of Doug Tharn plus, or a sort of Luke Waterfall plus.
You want Rob Jones?
Exactly, Rob Jones. That's the sort of thing. That's the sort of thing we need.
All we need to find is Rob Jones. If we can find Rob Jones, there's loads of them. There's loads of Rob Jones there. If we can get a Rob Jones, a Paul Groves, an Alan Poughton, and a Clive Mendonca, I think we'll be all right.
Got Clive Mendonca. I don't think centre forward split your issue. Rose is good enough. Rose is good.
Rose is
Green is Poughton, mate. Green is Poughton. The new combination of skill and brutality.
Rose is great, but he needs support, and we need 3 strikers. So
yeah, we need Rose plus 2 others. Because what I think one of the things that went wrong at the back end of the season in particular was the amount we'd asked of a number of players: McEachran, Denver, Greeny, Ev, and particularly Rose. Because basically for the last 3 months of the season, we couldn't even take him off in games, let alone rest him. So
well, look at that. Look at that injury he had at Colchester, where he went down and he should have gone off. He clearly had a concussion, and we didn't have anybody that could play in front of him at all, and so we had to keep him on, even though he clearly had concussion, which is just not good enough.
And then he missed a game, didn't he? We were so useless and devoid of ideas in the game play. So yeah, the over reliance on Rose has got to be addressed.
And look, there's a couple of things in that. You can't really guess a Bicker who's going to have a car crash, can you? But Donovan Wilson and Raquel Pike, yes, you can imagine that they will be not good enough and injured. Yeah, that is what it is.
I think with Wilson particularly, I think. There was Sam said it earlier. I think from where there was times where I'd see him and go, "There's clearly a player there. There's something with him. He's got a natural striker's instinct." But you're right, you can't rely on him because he was never fit, and I don't think wanted to be there for a lot of the time as well. I think he was pining for a move back down south, and it was what it was.
But makes you wonder why he signed for us in the first place. Really, if he didn't really want to be here.
Couple of things. We've obviously got Docs Fest next week with Ash and Maximo Park and the Charlatans all playing. I'm going to be there. It's going to be brilliant. And Youngie's there. And then we've got the cricket game on the 17th of July down at Clee Cricket Club. Grimsby Town are taking on Jameson Seat Cricket Club. All proceeds are going to worthwhile causes. Yes, I've forgotten what they are. But it'll be brilliant. Come and watch me bat for 3 minutes. As David Artell gets to bounce the shit out of me. And my bat is very old. It's so old, it started to crack all the way down the front. So there's a good chance that thing is going to break. But I'll tell you something, this edge A 4 from Angus Fraser. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, nice.
Strike rate of 400 against Angus Fraser. That's what I'm saying.
You turn to Prime Viv Richards when Angus Fraser's playing, do you?
All I can say, faced 1 ball, 4. Strike rate of 400.
Were you out next to? Were you out next to?
No, it was the end of the over.
And then by the time and the next over when he put you out the following, so he was obviously on at one end, and by the next over you were out.
Yeah, the only one I ever remember, I can't remember his name. It was the black guy who used to be the presenter on Sky Sports News. Mark
Waterburn.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
He was apparently a former Northamptonshire cricketer, like second 11s. And he hit me for nearly 36 off and over. It was only the last one which bounced for 4. So 32, 34, sorry, off the over. God. Take it easy. It's a charity match. Can you just, no. So anyone who can play cricket for Grimsby Town will absolutely have a field day with me if they can get to it and it's not wide.
So who
trust me, I'm bowling the stumps, mate.
Yeah. Who do we think are the good fast bowlers in the team? Who do we think can bat a little bit? Who do you think I think Danny Rose looks like somebody who could open the batting.
I think so. I think Steve Crowsden can bowl 2 really good balls before his shoulder comes out.
I'm just thinking. I bet McEachran's like a kind of David Gower type left-hander who can kind of beautifully bat on ball, but it's a bit wafty outside off stump. I can see that. Sure. Greeny will be a sort of lower order slogger.
Yeah, he's Gus Atkinson, his old Greeny.
Yeah, bowls, and then you'll have, I don't know, let's have another go through here. Who's a bit of a sort of, I don't know, Evan Corey's a sort of bowler. He's accurate, not very sexy, but sort of can hit the top of off stump.
That's me. Off 2 pages.
That was me when I used to play for school. When I used to play for school, that was me. Right arm medium pacer, could bowl relatively accurately.
All I will say is shit gets wickets. That's exactly what I am. Shit gets wickets.
All you have to do when you play against rubbish players is bowl at the stumps. All you have to do.
There we go. Right. Well, I think we're done. We've done an hour.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Youngie, before I cut you off?
I was about to say, I've heard Shawnee Pearson's decent.
Oh, fuck's sake. Yeah. I'm looking forward to dropping a catch. Look, thank you all so much for joining us. We'll see if this one is the one. If not, come back for us next week while we try another try before you buy on another.
We're finally doing Sam tries, aren't we?
We are doing Sam tries. Yeah. Right. We'll see you all later. Do you know what? We never played the theme tune. Let's play the theme tune out.
We did.